Welcome to Rocket Recommends. I really enjoy sharing my love of books with others. Maybe that's you. Maybe you enjoy reading like I do. Maybe you sometimes run out of things that you're excited about reading and want to get a little more excited about it. Why did I start this YouTube channel? Well, a friend of mine suggested that I do because she said that when I talk about books, I light up. And the truth is I've been recommending books to people for a long time, for many years. I kind of end up recommending books to people even when maybe I wasn't planning to. I went out to shop for a friend's birthday present, and where did I go? To the bookstore. And at the bookstore, I was standing in the young adult section when a young woman wanted to get a recommendation for a book similar to The Hunger Games. So the clerk came over with her and tried to help her with this recommendation. She showed her a few things, a thing over here, over there, and you could see that she wasn't reaching the woman. She didn't show her anything that made her say, okay, I want to get that. So I was thinking, I know what to tell her. I know what to tell her. And so after they exited that area, they went over by the cash register and I picked up the book I wanted to recommend and I walked up behind them, around out of the section, and there are several people standing there. And I said, excuse me. And she turned toward me and I said, you mentioned you were looking for something like The Hunger Games. Well, I would recommend this book. I said it has a strong female protagonist and a really exciting story. I really enjoyed it and I recommend it to you. And then as I walked away, I said, and I don't work for her or anything. So after I went back to the section, the clerk and the young woman and a couple of her friends followed her back over and she's showing her where the book I'd recommended was on the shelf. I had reached her with my short description and she and her couple of friends asked me a couple of questions about it because once the clerk had located the book, she turned to me and said, I'll leave it to you. You know, maybe she shouldn't have done that. So we discussed the book a little bit and I showed her that there were more than one book in the series and a few other things. And then I said, since I don't work for them, you know, you could probably check this out at the library electronically or in a physical book. And we parted ways at that point. But I felt a little lift from sharing a love of that book with someone else. And she really helped me out there because she gave me a seed. She said, I'd like a book like The Hunger Games. Well, that tells me a lot, gives me a lot to go on. I know a lot of good books and a lot of good books in that section. But The Hunger Games, like The Hunger Games, pointed me to the book that I pointed her to. So when you're recommending books, that really makes a difference. Knowing a book or even a movie that the other person really enjoyed. You know, I didn't know there was a need for this, and I don't know that I would have thought of it had my friend not suggested it, but my physical therapist was saying that her sister sends a recommendation list of books over, and she has no trouble going through the books on the list. But when she gets to the end of the list, what to read? Oh, I felt that way too. Sometimes I don't have something in mind, and I'll go and reread a book that I've already read. Now, I do enjoy that, but isn't it nice to have the option, right? To have one ahead. So even if you're in the middle of reading a book right now, you might consult this channel for your, okay, this is going to be one of my next reads. This is going to be my one ahead. And I realized that just like me, it's really needed. There are people who love reading like I do, who enjoy the books, who enjoy the experience of entering another world through the character and experiencing something, traveling without leaving your home. It's a wonderful experience. Or traveling while you're on a commute or needing a little downtime from a task where you've been thinking something over that requires a lot of concentration. And after that, you might want to relax into reading a nice book. So that's why I decided to make this channel. And if you have books that you're curious about, like, I'd like to know a book like The Hunger Games, but fill in The Hunger Games with a book you really enjoyed, I'd love to hear about that.